When we started our home fragrance business many years ago now, or that's what it feels like, I never imagined that it would turn out to become something quite significant and generate millions of pounds worth of sales, employ tens and tens of people, and affect so many people around the country and, in fact, the world, like hundreds of thousands of customers and the audience, all of this kind of thing. Before we started the business, I knew that I could make a success of it because my experience previous to starting Cozy Aromas was in digital marketing and helping other brands build an audience online and then sell products through their website. So I knew how to do that. But again, when you start your own business from your kitchen at home, you never expect it to reach the level it did. And then eventually we sold it and are now focusing all of our time on the Home Fragrance Academy, which is a wonderful lifestyle for us to have. Throughout that journey, there have been so many mistakes that we made and a lot of lessons learned. And what I want to do today is to share with you 5 lessons that we learned along our journey of scaling our business. Lesson number 1 was to never stop marketing. And I'm going to sort of really hit this home to you. No matter how many orders you're getting, how busy you think you are, never ever stop marketing. Because when you get the momentum going, your Facebook ads are really starting to generate sales. You're getting lots of engagement on your social media posts, lots of traffic to your website. When you get that ball rolling and then you stop it because you've got too many orders to handle, it's very difficult to get it rolling again. This is a huge lesson that we learned back in 2020. This was when COVID was really starting to sort of cause us a number of challenges. And but thankfully, it sort of really did help with regards to the number of orders we were getting. And it got to a point where there was only 4 or 5 of us working at Cozy Aromas, and we were getting hundreds, literally hundreds of orders per day. And what we did was we actually turned off the Facebook ads to help us try to catch up. And then when we turned the ads back on a week later, it took a little while for them to kick in, at which point some of your competitors have perhaps caught up with you. And I do wish that if we had carried on with our advertising and marketing throughout the whole process of trying to fulfill all these orders, we would have scaled quite significantly and a lot faster than what we did. So if you are ever in a position where you are really busy and you want to turn off ads and you want to stop your marketing to allow you to catch up, I would advise you to work out a way in which you can actually deliver these orders. So from an operational point of view, figure that problem out instead of turning off the marketing. So if you need to hire temporary staff, if you need to employ permanent staff, whatever it is, to help you get through that nice problem to have, but it's still a problem, isn't it? You need to make sure operationally you can manage all of these orders that you will get. Whatever you do, do not stop marketing. Lesson number 2 was to not worry about copycats. Now, when we started to grow, we were seen as sort of one of the main brands in the home fragrance industry, certainly here in the UK. And when competitors see you having a certain level of success, what we found is their immediate reaction is to copy that and try and replicate that success for themselves. But what they'll typically do is they will lower their price slightly. So then they're starting to compete on price. And that was so frustrating in the early days when we see it, because you put so much time and effort into creating this beautiful brand, creating these wonderful products, building your audience, to then have someone come along and then try and take that from you by copying you and then undercharging you. Thankfully, customers are not as fickle as that. They will look beyond that and they'll be loyal to your brand. This is what we found. Customers are very loyal to our brand because they like us, they like our products. So when it comes to copycats, and you will get them a lot, just think about that. Just think about how you're going to market your products. And it's all about building that brand that people will fall in love with. And if they do that, they're not worried about a company down the road that's going to sell the same product as you for 50 pence cheaper. I promise you that is not what goes through their minds. People don't want always the cheapest product. They fall in love with a company and a brand, and they'll just continue to buy from them. That's what we found. And likewise, as you continue to grow in your business journey and you start to get more capital behind you to invest in certain things, you'll be able to create yourself bespoke products that other people cannot copy. That's what we did at Cozy Aromas. We made our own plastic tray, which was in our unique size, because we were always sort of known to have larger product sizes than other people, with our logo embedded into it as well. And then our cardboard packaging was also completely custom for ourselves, had a little sniff hole in the front as well, so people don't have to open the box to smell it. It had the scent name across the top of the box as well, so when they're all stacked up on top of each other, people can see the scent name. And this was all completely unique to us. Now, there is another company that actually copied our packaging only about 6 months after we started. But that's okay, we don't mind that because we're already first to market with it. We've already got our brand and we're not too worried about it. So you will get people copying you. Don't worry about it. Focus on your branding and building your community of customers. If you do find people copying you, then just build that as motivation to outperform them and outmarket them. That's what I did, and that really did work well for us. Lesson number 3 is all about employees. And when you get to a position of hiring people to work within your team, the key lesson here is to not be too informal with them. Now, there's a fine balance because you want to build a lovely culture that people want to work for. So you want to make it a very friendly, relaxed environment. You don't want to be seen as being too bossy or too regimented on the rules and things like this. But that can come back to bite you in the future, and it certainly did us. When we first started hiring people, we decided that we wanted to be one of the most friendly companies to work for, so relaxed. You know, if you had appointments, go to your appointments, do whatever you needed to do, it's no problem at all. Over time, people will take advantage of this. And if you don't have formal procedures in place, then there can be issues later down the line when you have multiple employees all saying to you, well, you let this person do this, but why can't I do it? Why have I got to do this, but that person hasn't got to do it? When you are going to employ people, create yourself an employee handbook and set out the rules of your business. So holidays, make sure you let everybody know how many holiday days they are entitled to. Make sure that they know the holiday booking procedure. Let them know what notice they need to give to be able to book holidays. If they need to have an afternoon off because of an appointment, which happens, that's absolutely fine. What's happening there? Is it a sick day? Is it half a day's holiday? Or are they going to make the hours back? You need to decide all of these things. Make sure you also have systems and processes in place so people know how to fulfill their role properly. Create yourself a document for each role. So if you are hiring someone in production to make your products, create a small handbook so they know exactly how to make the products. Then, if they deviate from that plan, you can then bring them up on it and say, look, you need to follow your handbook. This isn't to come across as being too formal or anything like that. This is just to make sure that everybody is treated the same, everybody knows what to expect, and you are not taken advantage of. My lesson number 4 is don't have all your eggs in one basket. And what I mean by that is don't rely on one revenue stream to generate all of your sales. So for example, if you currently sell on your website and that's the only place you sell and you just make all your money through your website, what happens if all of a sudden whoever's hosting your website have a day's outage? Or if you have a cyber attack and then your website's offline or something like that, you have no sales coming in at all. So you want to think about how you can diversify your income streams. So then if you do have a bad day with sales through your website, you also have these other things as well that you can rely on. So for example, you'll have sales through your website. You can have a monthly subscription box, which is reoccurring payments at the beginning of every month. You can sell your products on Etsy, eBay, Amazon, all of these different places. Plus, you can have a wholesale section to your business as well, where you work with retailers around the country. As many different revenue streams as you can work into your business as possible without causing you too much extra work, the better and more enjoyable growing your business will be. And lesson number 5 is always innovate. There's an entrepreneur in Essex that I've been following for quite some time. I've met him a couple of times as well. His name is James Sinclair. One of his sayings that's always stuck with me is, if you don't innovate, you'll evaporate. And if you think about that, that is really true as well. So especially in our industry, in the home fragrance industry, where there's always new fragrances coming out, there's always new products that people want to try. So think about how you can innovate your products to entice more customers in and keep them excited. If by now you have built yourself a community of customers, you constantly want to be creating things that are going to entice them to come back and buy from you. What is that going to be? If you're going to just sort of stay stagnant and not continuing to produce new products and innovate your product ranges, customers will start to get complacent and bored, and they'll start to shop around elsewhere. That's something that we have seen in the past. So we are always looking to innovate our products. Now, innovation doesn't mean having to come up with something brand new that you've never thought of before. Innovation could be quite as simple as creating a new size of a product or creating new packaging. So if you sell wax melts individually, can you get a clamshell with 4, 8, 6, 12 different fragrances within? That's an innovation because it's a new product that you have created. Likewise, it could just be that you're innovating by introducing a new range of fragrances. For example, in November 23, we introduced an American sweets fragrance range. It was 4 cents in wonderfully sweet American fragrances. We only had it for a very limited time, and they absolutely flew out the door. And that was just a small innovation that we did. So innovation doesn't have to be this massive thing where you're having to reinvent the wheel all the time. Just think about what you can do with your current product range, change them around slightly, repackage them, do something a bit different to entice your customers to come back. So there you have it. They are 5 key lessons that we learned during our journey of building and scaling Cozy Aromas. If you have any questions, please leave them below. I would also encourage you to click the first link in the description, which will take you through to our email newsletter, where every week I will send you detailed tips on how you can start and grow your home fragrance business. Thanks, everybody.